teachings of a Roman Curia Cardinal on your iPod?
Well, that's why we have podcasting.
Exactly, the Cardinal Orenzi webcast.
The podcast that bears my name.
Well, you heard it. Stay subscribed.
Remnants talking about shame brings with it specific limitations. You want to expand on that? Because that's a...
Yeah, the Pope says that shame brings with it a specific limitation in seeing with the eyes of the body.
Mm-hmm.
This takes place because personal intimacy is disturbed and almost threatened by this sight. That means after Adam and Eve offended God, there was imbalance in each person. And therefore, when we look at another human being, we would have some of that imbalance in our thoughts or in our looks.
Yes.
And therefore, the question of shame comes in. Clear?
Yeah, I think if we go back to it, without original sin, it wasn't there. So that shows you how the power of sin. Now, the nuptial meaning of the body.
The Pope says, yes, he uses that phrase often, the nuptial meaning of the body. That means the body created by God with a view to marriage. He says, that beatifying beginning of man's beginning and existing as male and female is connected with the revelation and discovery of the meaning of the body, which can be called nuptial. It is important to know that the revelation of the nuptial meaning of the body is found in those biblical texts which speak of the beginning of man. That means the beginning, God made them male and female. God saw all things that he had made, and he found it very good.
And this mutual giving to one another in the sexual act, when one is focused on giving pleasure to his wife, or the wife to the husband, they actually are more fulfilled themselves. And this is, the opposite is so true. When you're just trying to use one another for pleasure, you really don't get the pleasure. It's amazing. When you do it God's way, you really do.
Yes.
It's just amazing.
Because people cannot cheat God and get away with it.
Yeah.
We cannot invent a good for ourselves better than what God made.
And it's so sad, Your Eminence, when they start getting into sex education and vivid descriptions, and they take the mystery away from the couple, because as you grow in this in your marriage, you're discovering more, and this is it's a personal thing. You know, the human sexuality should not be talked about in a joking way, and even married people do that. They just sort of, oh, I'm not married now, we can talk about this intimate. No, it's intimate between the wife and the husband, and having conversations with other people about it is wrong.
That is true.
Yeah,
people have, that sensitivity is important. It is part of our respect for God.
Yes.
And also our respect for ourselves
Yes.
and for other human beings.
Yes. I do not know man. Mary said when they, when talking about you're going to conceive and have a baby, and the baby will be God's son, but I do not know man. She said, I do not know man. Well, this is what happens when you enter into marriage. You start to know one another and discover one another physically and spiritually and emotionally, and to talk about it with others degrades it. And it's not good for the kids to hear parents talking about this.
Nor for the adults either.
Yes, right.
And it is a type of not a type, but it is lack of respect for a very sacred thing.
Yeah, and it's sacred. See, this is the thing about it. People think that, well, sexuality is not sacred. It's dirty. You're doing it. It's not just a sin, but it's not. No, it's sacred. And this is beauty of the child.
That is the root of sin. Pulling human action away from God's plan.
Yes.
That means thinking God does not come into this one.
Right.
We are on our own.
Right.
That's not correct.
So that's what they think.
We are not on our own.
Yeah.
God does come into it very much. So it's God who made it so. We must not try to pull it away as if we would say to God, now you keep out.
Yes.
You don't come into this area.
Right.
No, he does come into this area. And our respect for God and our respect for human being do demand that. Indeed, that is also a way of modesty in speech.
Yes, that's a good way to put it, modesty in speech.
Yes.
Yes.
Modesty is not only in dressing or in movements,
Yes.
but also in speech. Of course.
Yeah.
Of
And
course.
because sometimes the people say, well, I'm married and we can talk this way with other people. No, you
No.
don't. This is private between you and your wife. This is sacred, and you don't discuss it with anyone else but your spouse.
That's why
it's just
the Bible often uses the word no.
Yes.
Adam knew his
Yes,
wife.
right.
And it is not a wrong expression. It has in it a sense of intimacy, a sense of respect, and also a spiritual dimension, not
Yes.
just a biological one, which means excluding all others who are not husband and wife. They must not become so intimate that
right.
they would know each other in that way.
Right. Yeah.
All the rest against that is a rejection of God's plan.
I know. Well, this has to be said because so often people are talking about these intimate things with other people that are not their spouses, and
It's
just
not
right.
correct.
It's
not
right.
It's not like ordinary biology class. It's not arithmetic.
Right.
This is the touching the deeper part of the human being.
Now, this is what's happening in the sex education programs, and now have a program out there, good field, bad field, to try to prevent the abuse of children. And all they're doing is introducing all of this excitement to excite these children, and it's the wrong thing. It's
The church, which has wisdom of 2,000 years as a mother,
Yeah.
knows all that.